Hey guys, welcome back to Nerf Ops. Today we have another epic comparison of two very large Mega Snipers. Nerf's Mega Centurion, one of the longest Nerf snipers ever. And the second one is the only longer Nerf gun, the Nerf Mega Thunderhawk. They're both pretty epic. And before we get started, make sure to subscribe down below with notifications, give this video a like after watching, and it gets started. So right off the bat in this video, you probably noticed that these guns were huge, and this is because they are Nerf Mega guns. Guns that shoot Nerf Mega darts, which are bigger than Nerf Elite darts, as you can tell right here. Therefore, due to the Mega darts being larger, they have more stopping power and they also shoot much farther. Not to mention, they whistle, so watch the firing demo to see that. I do recommend these guns for ages 12 and up because anyone younger will probably not even be able to hold it. It barely fits into frame. So long in fact that Nerf advertises them as the longest Nerf guns ever. Now, as cool as having humongous Nerf guns may sound, due to the length, it's really hard to store these guns and it's not super easy to run around with them. So this is probably going to be a sniper that you're going to be laying down or shooting from distances with. Luckily, since the Nerf Thunderhawk's barrel extends, you do also get a kind of running mode, which allows you to unextend the barrel. And this compactness allows it to be much more usable in many Nerf guns and might be suitable for a little bit younger ages than the Nerf Centurion. Don't get me wrong, this is a huge gun nonetheless. Unfortunately, the Nerf Mega Thunderhawk's clip does not come out, which also is super annoying for storage. I do have a hack in my channel that'll show you how to get it out in a few simple seconds. And weight-wise, these are super heavy guns, which makes sense because of their humongous size. Now, something that you may want to keep in mind in terms of finding the Nerf guns is that the Nerf Thunderhawk did come out in 2018, which means you are much more likely to find this online than the Nerf Centurion, which came in around 2010. Now, just because the Nerf Centurion is 8 years older than the Nerf Thunderhawk does not mean it's any worse of a gun. Both of these guns do have bolt action kind of sniper-like priming mechanisms, which means you kind of pull back on the bolt and push forward in order to fire. The Thunderhawks is really simple to use and you can fire decently quickly. But it is so less fun than the huge, long Nerf Centurion's priming mechanism. It's probably one of my favorite things about this gun. But unfortunately, the Centurion's priming mechanism is much slower than the Thunderhawk's. Now moving on to build quality, which is pretty important, especially in a comparison. Some guns are just not built very well, and the Nerf Thunderhawk is a pretty cheaply made gun in my opinion, despite being so impressive. Now keep in mind that many of the things that we find are cheaper built on the Nerf Thunderhawk make sense because the Nerf Thunderhawk is a much cheaper gun than the Nerf Centurion. So any feature that is less quality but doesn't really matter to you, keep in mind that you will be saving money on purchasing this gun instead of the Centurion. The Nerf handle is pretty uncomfortable and it just doesn't really fit into your hand. The priming mechanism feels kind of cheap in my opinion. And the fact that the magazine doesn't come out and the kind of bipod is kind of cheaply built in just doesn't feel so premium to me. Not to mention the sliding mechanism isn't so great and will fall down on its own, especially if you're running around. But maybe this isn't an issue. Maybe it's just because I'm so accustomed to the really premium build quality of the Nerf Centurion. Everything about the Nerf Centurion just feels great, from the magazine all the way to the detachable huge kind of bipod, which is super great and allows you to put it on other Nerf Elite guns. Not to mention it has a detachable magazine, which means you can swap it out with other magazines. Not to mention the Nerf Centurion does have a lightweight feel on all different points, despite being a kind of heavy gun overall, which allows it to be kind of balanced when you're shooting it. The thumb grip also feels great and the shoulder stock really works well. Not to mention, even though it doesn't come with a scope, when you line up the sights just right, it is super accurate and super easy to use. It really makes you feel like a sniper. In a Nerf battle, your friends will not want to go against this. Now next up, moving on to tactical rails and included attachments. The Nerf Centurion, as I said earlier, does come with a built-in bipod and multiple tactical rails, including one on the top for a scope kind of, and one on the bottom for a bipod or sort of secondary grip. It also does come with a Nerf 6-round magazine for Mega darts, but this is almost proprietary and you won't be able to buy it separately. In case you don't know what proprietary means, it means barely any other Nerf gun uses this magazine anyway. I'd definitely rather have a magazine than not have a magazine. Because I actually have two Nerf Centurions and I actually actually take advantage of swapping out magazines. But unless you're like me, this does not matter. Moving on to the Nerf Thunderhawk, it does have one tactical rail, but unfortunately it is a bit too high for a scope, so you're never actually going to aim well, and it moves around, which means your scope's kind of gonna be moving around with the actual barrel. But not a very great attachment point. On the bottom, it has a built-in bipod, but I would really prefer a tactical rail on the bottom here. And for ammunition, the Nerf Thunderhawk does have a 10-dart clip system that is kind of built into the gun once you put it in. And for a little bit of personal experience on both of these guns, the Nerf Centurion, I have had a lot of fun with it, especially around the house, kind of just shooting at objects, because it has such an impressive accuracy and range. And since it's pretty big, I do have a lot of fun and comfort while using this. This is a pretty hard flex. Sometimes I use this kind of bipod on my other guns and it works really well, especially since most of the other bipods are much smaller. Aside from occasionally running into things, I'd say there's not much negative about this gun. But it is still not recommended to use in the field at a Nerf battle, especially running around with this thing. For the Thunderhawk, it doesn't have as good range and accuracy, but it definitely does the job. Some things I did like about it is that it is pretty impressive, again, to show off to friends. It does have a higher amount of ammunition capacity than the Nerf Centurion, and it is definitely a pretty easy gun to run around with, if you're big and strong enough like me. And this is not much of a con, but the darts are pretty picky. You're gonna have to push them all the way in for the gun to even fire. Oh, that was a lot of comparing there. Now, one more thing before we get into the firing demo. The Nerf Thunderhawk Nerf states that it has a range of about 30 feet accurately, and the Nerf Centurion has a range of about 100 feet. And for personal experiences, I definitely agree that the Nerf Centurion has a much higher range. So if that's important to you, then definitely go for the Nerf Centurion. Let's get into the firing demo! Firing demo time. Starting off the firing demo with the Nerf Mega Thunderhawk. It's really hard to aim with the Nerf Thunderhawk's extended barrel. I don't know why, but for some reason it makes you want to aim a bit higher than it really is. Let's try it in a running mode. Alright, so like this, it's still the most accurate gun ever, but it still performed pretty well. Definitely gotta give this some credit, because I was pretty far away. Keep in mind that this test is limited to the best of my aiming, and also I wasn't using a bipod, it was all by hand. Also in this test I am using the red standard Mega Darts. Next up is stopping power. For stopping force, we're going to be using a water bottle inside of a cup. This is actually pretty heavy, and we're going to see if the Nerf Thunderhawk can knock it down. And now for our epic rate of fire demo against Cuptopia. Cuptopia, prepare to be destroyed. That was the Nerf Thunderhawk firing demo. Now let's move on to the Centurion. Oh yeah. Full credit to the Nerf Centurion. This is quite the sniper. Stopping power. And now, Cuptopia versus the epic Mega Nerf Centurion. Epic reload. So that was the firing demo for both of the Nerf guns, and Centurion shot better than the Nerf Thunderhawk. But nonetheless, the Nerf Thunderhawk performed pretty well for us, especially since it retails for only $30 or $40 right now. Overall, to be honest, I'd say go for the Nerf Centurion. It is a pretty well-made sniper. It has magazines and just multiple features that make it superior to the Nerf Thunderhawk. But since the Nerf Thunderhawk is newer and more affordable, it is still a great option if you're looking to spend less money, and it's way more readily available in stores. Not to mention its short, kind of what I like to call running mode, and long sniper mode make it a really versatile gun in Nerf battles. And if you're looking to buy this as a gift, it is still insanely impressive and really fun to operate. That was pretty much it for this video. If you enjoyed, please make sure to subscribe down below with notifications, give this video a big thumbs up, and comment down below what you enjoyed. See you next time!